1-0 start since the 2010 season. Coach, whenever you're ready, to open up the statement, and then we'll take questions.
Okay, very good, John. First of all, I told the team nobody owes us anything. We got to go out there and earn it. Certainly not what I expected in terms of the overall performance, but there was moments in that game that I saw our kids really dig deep and come up big, especially late in the game. Our run game, we leaned very heavily on our offensive line to be able to move the chains and take the clock down and be able to put some points on the board. I was very pleased with Joe. Joe had a real solid day back there. And then Ronnie Willoughby. We've been talking about Ron, and Ron came up big for us today, and I was really pleased with him. Competing for the ball in the air when we're on defense, that was something that, obviously I wasn't pleased with. Our secondary, they need to get in there and watch more film and really understand how they were playing those plays and where they were in their technique, and I know that they'll improve upon that. And that's really what I told them. You got to live and learn from these situations. It's tough to win ball games at this level. It's the 8th straight win at UB Stadium. We're awfully proud of that, and we got to continue to have that mindset. That's something that hasn't been done here in the past, and now we have to get ready for Army. But they get 24 hours and to enjoy a victory, and now it's on to the next one. So questions?
Did you feel you had the 97-yard drive? Willoughby had a few big plays. I mean, did you at some point in the fourth quarter say to yourself, "Let's get back to running the ball a little more," or what do you think about
that's what we did.
Asserting your running game?
Yeah, that's what we did. We flavored in a couple isolated passes that helped us, but, it was still about, running our gap schemes, our inside zone schemes, our outside zone schemes, and that's what we really leaned heavily on our offensive line to do that, along with our fullbacks and tight ends, and I thought they did a real solid job, being able to step up and dig deep when we needed them.
Is it safe to say, Jeff, that you kind of have mixed emotions about this? I mean, obviously it's a win, and it's a win. You're happy about a win, but not thrilled with how you played.
No, it's a good point. There's that one side of you. It's tough to win ball games at this level. Those kids get coached, and I tip my hat off to Coach Smith and Duquesne and the way those kids came in here and competed. I thought we really started out fast. We put some points on the board early. It was unusual to have a delay, but that had nothing to do with the outcome of the game from that standpoint. But I really saw that they gained a little bit of momentum. What we needed to do was settle down, relax, and try to dig deep, and that's what I saw on our football team. And certainly we know we got more work to do. And to be able to compete at the highest level that, for teams up and coming, now we got to play much better.
Do you think that they got a little too comfortable at 21 zip? Your guys?
If they did, that's not how we coach them, and we play one snap at a time. We have a model right over the door, every play, every down, and every day. And, I don't expect them to worry about what the scoreboard says, whether you're up, down, doesn't matter. Those things should not factor in your thought process. And if it did, I'll have a little bit more time to get through the film, get with the coaches tomorrow, reflect a little bit, talk to the captains, get a little bit of a feel for where they were. But I knew that they were positive on the sidelines. They were always positive. You probably saw it from your perspective, and that's what I was very happy with. They were into the game, and they had a fight. They had to dig deep to get it again, and that's part of a good true test of your team's character and your leadership.
In the secondary, Baker didn't play.
Yeah, he was sick. Yeah, he had an illness.
Similar situation last year in the Stony Brook game. How did the players and the team respond from that? Is there anything you can take from, like you said, having a game where you win, but maybe you're not happy with how you played?
Well, that's what we continue to emphasize with our young men here at UB is to respond, and that's what they did in the second half, especially late in the game. When we were down, we needed to come through, and guys leaned on each other. And what we try to do is just continue to coach them, continue to keep their poise and composure, try to not think about who you're playing and all that other stuff. Just go execute and give it everything you got. And that's what I saw out of there. So we continue to live and learn.
Sorry about that. What did you see in Jordan Johnson? He, late in the game, that's when you're going to guys that you really rely on, and he's
good ball security tonight. I wasn't pleased with Anthony's ball security. but I was pleased with Jordan's. I thought he did a nice job, pressing the open seams and gaps that he is responsible to do. And I saw him put his shoulders down. I saw him breaking some tackles. So, which is nice to have, more than one running back in the backfield that you can lean on, more than just Anthony or one running back. And you got Jordan, you got Anthony, you got Devin Campbell. So we're excited about seeing those kids grow and develop as they move through the season.
When you see Joe in that situation, I mean, he has some experience now, so his demeanor is not going to change. You don't know before all this, and now you know.
Wow.
How
He just, I tell you, the thing about Joe Licata is he just brings a confidence. There's an air of confidence. Every single time. He's such a competitor. Now he's so positive. He consistently makes plays, as you saw tonight. And, he's just in the moment. That's what you love about him. And that's what I get. That's what I sense with his ability to play and perform at that level. And he brings a lot of confidence to our football program.
Jeff, talk about the fact that they did last year Stony Brook and this year Duquesne. These are the teams that outsiders might look at and say you should be handling these teams with pretty much ease. But these games have been pretty adventurous. Can you talk about the fact that these have been adventurous games and what kind of positive you take out of the fact that maybe a close game is a good thing to emerge from?
Well, any game that you win close says a lot about your team, okay, no matter who you play. I give Coach Schmidt and his program and those coaches, those players credit to come in here. It was their first BCS. I certainly expected our team to perform better in key situations in some moments. We didn't make some of the key good the quality decision making that you want to see. We had a punt return situation that was just, I don't know what he was thinking. He wasn't. Maybe that was the problem. But again, we put him back there, Marcus and McGill, as one of those guys to continue to give us that kind of dynamic playmaking ability. And sometimes that's something you got to learn from those experiences, and that's what we got to build on with him. He's a great player, and he's going to continue to grow in our program. A late hit out of bounds, when, we're trying to get off the field and close things out. There's no reason for those penalties to take place in those situations. We had a key first down that got called back off for a holding. And those are little things that we're going to look at very carefully as a coaching staff to make sure that those kids understand they got to perform with a little bit more intelligence and a little bit more instincts.
But also, by the same time, it's probably unfair to expect these guys to perform at the same level now as they will in October, November, by the end of the season. You want to see a progression.
Well, you're absolutely right. But, as a coach, you want to see a performance out of all 12 games at the highest level. But, when you secure a win the way we did, these kids are very positive in there. These guys fight hard and they've trained hard, and we got this one under our belts. To be a 1-0 football team since 2010 is a good feeling. To get out of the gates with a W under your belt, give us some momentum going into this next one. But you got to live and learn. It's not easy to go into these games and just expect to say, hey, you're going to win these games, and they're just not like that. And I don't feel that way, and we didn't overlook these guys. Kids didn't. They weren't in that mindset. They were energized. They understood the plan. But we got to get better. And I know this football team understands that. And that's what I appreciate about our maturity and leadership of our program.
Coach, can you expand on Willoughby's performance? He was the guy making all the plays out there.
No, and that's great. Because I think Ronnie's been waiting for his opportunity and doing a good job, and now he had an opportunity to do that. What we need to do is he's got to continue to have those big-time plays, as we saw guys like Alex Nutz and Freddie Lee, and Ronnie's going to be able to do that. And I know Joe has a lot of confidence in him. And I think tonight was just a great example of a young man who's worked extremely hard, been patient, and had his chance to go out there and demonstrate he can make those plays. Now what he has to do is demonstrate he can do it each and every week, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
You talk about the decision to go for it on 4th and 1, your last offensive drive of the game, the sneak with Joe Licata. Just talk us through the decision to go for it and the decision to do a QB sneak.
Absolutely. It was just, that was a joint decision, by Coach Wood, myself, the offensive line, and Joe Licata. So They were hungry to get that one. It was very close, but, they made it, and that was a significant, play in the game to be able to close things out for us.
The way your secondary was playing, did that factor into the decision to go for it at all?
Well, not necessarily the way again, that wasn't what my mindset was at that time. It was just to get the first down. Nothing else mattered. And they understood that. And that's what I loved about, their demeanor coming to me and saying, hey, this is, we want this and we want to do it this way, coach. And I'm like, hey, let's go. And they did it.
Hey, Jeff, other than his overall performance, Adam Redden with that sack towards the end of the game, was that a little bit of a sign of leadership and a little bit of a sign of him saying, you know what, I'm going to make sure that this game goes our way?
Well, and that's what you hope for in terms of guys that have had that kind of opportunity in the past. He's been there before. You do lean on those guys, absolutely. And I think he really, he really wanted that time to get that defense on his shoulders and make that play. He can make those plays, without a doubt. He was in there in the locker room. He was, obviously very positive, but he was also very mature and responsible, understanding, hey, we got to get better. I've got to get better. And I certainly, believe that this football team will continue to grow. And they're close.
What did you learn about certain players? I mentioned Johnson before. Anything else that you learned? I mean, you saw Willoughby. These are things that there's a lot of new things coming in here.
Yeah, and that's the key guy. Because we talked about the wide receiving core. Who was going to be that guy who was going to step up and take that opportunity? And Ronnie was one of those guys. I'm pleased with the ability of our different running backs to go in there and give us some downhill, strong running, whether it's the inside zone, outside zone, or gap scheme. I was really pleased with that. I tell you, Brandon Crawford, on the defensive side of the ball, I really like where he is. Those are just a couple of the guys. I thought Akezie Losi had some good key plays in the game. You might not have seen it, but, he had a couple that were that he's got to get better at. But it was his first time starting. So, again, it's playing the ball in the air. That's something that we've got to get better at. And I saw that today. We did not play the ball the way I would have expected us to play. So that's a key element in us getting better as a defense.
Anything else?
Coach, one more time on the last two drives for you guys. You guys struggled to move the ball well into the fourth quarter, and then to see that resolve and confidence from your guys saying, hey, give us the ball, let us go for it on fourth down. I think it was also 3 or 4 third down conversions on that final drive you guys had.
Yeah, and I could just tell in the look in their eyes, they wanted to run the ball, and they, obviously I'm a big believer in that, and that was a big part of just the confidence that they have in each other, I have in them, our coaches do, and that's really what you want. You want to be able to close things out in the last, 4 to 6 minutes. When you've got a slight lead in the game, you want to be able to hang your hat on guys and, be able to sustain drives for the length of time that we did and convert on some key downs. Just shows the maturity and the responsibility that they have to being the guys to be counted on. In our offense, we needed that out of those guys, and our defense was energized on the sidelines to be able to finish things off at the end of the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Players right here.
All right, Joe, just if you could start us off, you're trailing, you're down at your own 3-yard line, just kind of what were you thinking at that point?
Our mindset whenever we're in the black zone is to just get 1 first down, then try to get 2, just move the ball out. And then our offensive line dominated like they did, I think, all day. And we were able to power the ball down the field, and then Ron makes a great play down the field, and then comes up big at the end again.
Could you talk about those 2 plays to him on that drive? The play action pass was kind of a post pattern?
Yeah, it was a deep post. We knew that they were going to bite on the play action because they were playing the run hard because, like I said, our offensive line was pushing them around, so they had to respect that aspect of it. And Ron beat the corner over top, and the safety was bit down from the play action. And I threw it up there, and it was a little bit behind him, and he made a great play, like he has been doing all day and all camp, like you saw.
And then the touchdown down the sideline.
The touchdown down the sideline, I probably shouldn't have thrown. It was a play action. Coach Quinn wanted to take a chance take a shot in the end zone. I wanted to also. And the corner bailed, and like any quarterback knows, you're really not supposed to throw a go route into a corner bailing. But I had a lot of faith in Ron to make the play. I knew that if I threw it high to him, he's a big 6'4", 6'5" guy, that he'd go get it. So.
What are your thoughts in general? Jeff just talked about, these bit of mixed emotions. You're happy with the win, but not necessarily thrilled with the overall play of, you blew a 21-point lead.
Right. It's up and down. It is a weird feeling. But I think you take the positives out of it and you take the negatives out of it, just like in any game. We're going to come back and watch the film tomorrow. They did a lot of stuff very effectively that we didn't have an answer to for a little bit, and then we answered. And what matters is we came up with the big plays in the end of the game, and we got to win.
One more. They have 2 5'9" corners. I mean, was that in your mind at all in going more to Ron? Or did you feel like you could just put it up to him and he'd get it?
I've got a lot of faith in Ron as a receiver. It doesn't matter really who's guarding him. I've got a lot of faith in him. So whether he was 5'9", 6'4", I like that matchup. I think he goes up and gets the ball very well. He's been doing it for years now, and it's good for everyone in Buffalo and across the country to see what he was able to do tonight.
Ron, just what do you think? How are you feeling right now?
It was an awesome experience. It was great to get a win. Obviously we're upset with the lead that we blew, but we'll work on that, and it's not going to happen again. But it was a great team win, and Joe threw some nice passes, and it looks hard, but it's pretty easy when Joe's putting the ball right there.
Did you expect to be kind of the number one option going into the game? Was that something you expected and were prepared for?
Yeah, absolutely. The coaches leaned heavily on me. They said that, all summer and spring, and I knew I was ready for the challenge, so I tried to step up.
The last touchdown where you got your 1 foot down, just what was that play? What route did you run?
That was just a go route. I felt like my foot wasn't in. I thought my heel was out of bounds, but so it was awesome to see. That was the touchdown after review.
Ron, all the talk has been about replacing guys from last year, specifically Alex Newts and Fredley out there, wide receiver. How big is it to have a big game right out the chute?
Oh, absolutely. Replacing Alex Newts, that's a tough task, but the wide receivers all stepped up all summer, spring, and we were ready for the challenge. And Joe has confidence in all of us, so we just need to make our plays.
Are you ready to fill those shoes?
Oh, absolutely.
Is Newts here today?
Yeah, he was.
Right. Did he talk to you after?
Yeah, I actually just saw him when I went out for halftime. I just slapped his hand. I wasn't able to talk to him, though.
Joe, can you kind of talk us through the QB sneak you had on 4th down? Just walk us through that play. What was that decision to go for, and the play itself? What were you kind of doing to your way in there?
Well, Andre Davis, our left guard, is a very powerful kid, and he was controlling the line of scrimmage all night. And, we walked over the sideline, and we looked at Coach Quinn, and he was asking what we wanted to do. And Andre and myself wanted to run the QB sneak because we knew we could get those inches that we needed. And Coach has a lot of faith in our opinions. And I think that he saw what Andre was able to do, pushing people around all day. So, I was just following Andre and Trevor at center.
What kind of changed for you? The passing attack really struggled and started the second half. Then you're down, everything just starts clicking, you score those 2 touchdowns. Did anything change in your mind? Did you do anything differently?
No, not really. As a football team and as a quarterback, you can never get too high, you can never get too low. So it's always been the same. Stay calm, cool, and collected, and just be ready for the next play.
Dwelly, the 88-yard touchdown, the pass, was it a play? Did you bite a little, or was it a play action, or what happened on that play?
Well, on that play, Coach had made a call, and on my part, I just didn't execute my technique the way I needed to. And the receiver ran a good route. He did a good release, and he wound up stacking me, and it was pretty tough for me to make the play.
How's it as a defensive player, when you see the offense make a 97-yard drive, it really kind of, as a defense, do you feel like they bailed you out, on that
yeah.
play? Yeah.
We do, because, and that's the thing about, with our offense, we see that we have a lot of experience, especially with Joe, and then in the offense. So when it took place, we were just like, we know you guys, well, speaking of the offense, we know they have it. We have some good, powerful guys, some good playmakers, and we just believed in them.
Joe, you said in a game like this, you just want to go back and look up and find the positives. Initially, what are the positives coming out of this?
I think everyone found out that Ron Willoughby could play football. He actually is going to go by the name of Willoughbeast now. That's what we've been calling him. But no, Ron can play football. I think our offensive line is very dominant up front. And Jordan Johnson, I thought, stepped in and did a great job, along with Anthony Taylor and Devin Campbell. But Jordan, his first real game experience at running back, I thought he did a great job today and was able to run the ball very well.
Joe, can you talk about the balance that you guys have? I mean, you went through like 5 or 6 guys rushing the ball and 8 or 9 receivers, and you spread the ball to all kinds of different players, which is kind of a little new technique for you guys.
Yeah.
And you talk about the idea of having that many targets and that many guys to hand the ball off.
It's fun for me. Last year we had some studs on the outside, and they were big name guys, and we missed those guys obviously. But now there's no returning quote unquote studs. But we've got a lot of guys that are capable, and like Ron said earlier, I have a lot of faith in those guys, and I know they can step up and make every play that the guys previously were able to make. So I've got a lot of faith in those guys, and that's what it's all about: spreading the ball around so no one can key on one specific guy.
Can you talk about the idea between Stony Brook last year and Duquesne this year? Two teams that people might have expected you to have a bit more of an upper hand against, but you ended up squeaking out wins. Can you talk about maybe there's a benefit in playing close games and not having a blowout?
I mean, you learn how to win, I guess. It's our first experience out there as a team in the 2014 season. I mean, obviously, we wanted to play better. But I think, like I said, we gained valuable experience in the fourth quarter, coming back, making that long drive. To the fans, it might be a little discouraging, but to us, it's a confidence builder, showing that we can win in any situation.
Anything else, guys? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, man. Ron, congratulations. Joe, congratulations.